Things felt a little chaotic this week, packing orders, getting ready for a trip, prepping for my biggest market ever, and somehow having an existential moment about K-pop demon hunters. It's peak small business craziness, but I'm still making time for creativity, joy, and life outside of the business. Come hang with me for a few chaotic days in the studio.
So many things are happening right now. I'm trying to organize my thoughts. We are leaving tomorrow for a little over a week. And when I get back, I basically have 3 or 4 days until I turn around and go to my biggest market ever. I can't believe it's already almost November. Halloween is tomorrow. Tonight there's an event called Witches Night Out, and I'm like, I'm in this stage of my life and business that I'm not sacrificing doing things like that, even though it's really crazy and busy in the business. So this might be a little bit chaotic, but isn't that just real life?
I'm in checklist mode. So, first order of business, something that I can check off the list. I have a couple orders to package, so many things to do. I'm just trying to chill and do the things.
Well, already we have a problem. I looked at the order wrong, and one of the things that was ordered I do not have available because it's at the shop and I forgot to take it out of my inventory. So, I'm gonna have to make it right now.
Okay. Vibe check. Oh, I got caught. I have been obsessed in a way that I can't even talk. So I've been borderline obsessed with the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack. I've just watched it for the first time like 2 weeks ago, and I've been listening to mostly 2 of the songs nonstop. And it's been so long. I don't even remember the last time that I had songs on repeat or that like drew so much emotion. And so of course, like while I'm knitting, I've been watching like interviews of the singers and the behind the scenes stuff and like reaction videos. And I don't usually do that, but I've just been so moved by the movie and the music. But I think the biggest part of it, and this is why, once again, I think representation is such a big deal. I need to stop recording, but I'm just going to talk through this. But why representation is such a big deal, because for me, and EJ said this in one of her interviews, where for the first time, this movie, even though it's animated, it's like depicting Asian women in a way that's not stereotyped as subservient or these side characters or fetishized or all these things. They're like super badass. They're also girly. They have flaws. They're just real people, and they are the main character, you know, and not just the movie. But, like, right now, there's so much buzz around the singers, especially EJ, and I don't know if you know the history or whatever, but, you know, it's just having that representation and seeing these women being seen for their artistry and their talents and their hard work and as just creatives, artists, you know, and not just as, I don't even know how to articulate it, but it's like, this is the best, one of the examples I can think of is like growing up as a kid. Like, you know how there's all those like quizzes, like what celebrity do you look the most like? And it was always like, ha ha ha, yeah, let me guess, Lucy Liu, you know? And it was just this joke, or like, there's just no one representing, you know, and, or at least, or it's like, I had this conversation last week about like Asianness, and how someone was like, well, you're like one of the least Asians I know. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Right? What does that even mean? And for me, it's like something that I've always struggled with. And I've been unpacking so much of it in the last 5 years. It's just been really interesting. And it's just cool seeing like how it's made me feel, seeing these Asian women like in this spotlight right now, and like, but as like normal people, like like I don't know, it's cool. It's hard to explain. I don't even know. But it's really powerful. And I don't know if any of you watching this have seen the movie or listened to the songs or even know what I'm talking about or relate at all. But one of the songs, what it sounds like, really talks about like your flaws and the beauty in the broken glass and all of that. And maybe part of it's like after going through the social justice training last week, and there's a lot about racism and stuff, of course, and abuse. And I'm not going to go into like my own personal trauma here, but it's like just seeing all of that in play and the healing from it. It's really moving. Yeah, I don't know. Tell me if you relate. And I think it's partly like why it's been so healing for me even to make these videos, right? And going through and talking about out loud what I've been going through and just sharing that, like whether or not people watch it, right? If you're here, thank you for being here. I told you it was going to be a chaotic video. But just, we're human beings that are complicated and are going through stuff. And the hope is to like move forward and to grow and heal and use our creativity, our work, what we do as a way of healing. And that's definitely been true for me in so many ways, so many ways. And it's constantly happening. And I think that's why for me, like moving into this space of helping other women build and grow their businesses, helping people get in touch with their inner child and be creative again, whether or not it ever becomes a business or not, but just being creative at all or living life on their own terms. Like I talk about this so much, but it really does have this deeper emotional connection to my why and like my past. Being able to travel and see the world in a different way, having our own financial agency, just not letting outside societal systems and pressures make us do things that we don't want to do or live a life that we don't want to. And it's a work in progress always. I don't even know how else to describe it. It's magical. It truly is. And you know, this month, October, it's like shadow work, shadow season. And I've been doing a little bit of my shadow work journal, and it's been really cool too. And I've recognized that I've been doing a lot of that just throughout the last few years in general. But it's cool when you like make it a point to do it. But okay, was not planning to get all emotional and yap about that. But I did finish the hat. I have these other ones too that are ready. Like I said, I have to pack and ship these orders. And well, time has passed today. I probably have to actually go get ready pretty soon to go for the witches thing. And I still have to make my costume. I saw on Pinterest last night, like this robe that you can make in under an hour. And I'm like, okay, maybe if I run to the store and grab some fabric, I can sew it really quickly. So on top of all these other things that I'm trying to do, I'm going to try to fit that in too.
Okay, that did not go according to plan. First of all, the fabric section has shrank by like, I don't know, to an eighth of what it used to be. So they had zero fabric, or at least nothing that I could use. So hopefully, I got creative. I found these curtains. So hopefully I can sew these into this robe that I'm envisioning. I also could not find a witch's hat there. And I've surprisingly never been a witch before. So I think I have an old wizard hat from when Rob was Gandalf a few years ago. So I'm just going to use that. And I got these leaves. Of course, I can't just be a classic witch. I'm trying to be a forest witch. But I don't know the last time I used my sewing machine. I'm going to see if I can piece this together. Oh my god, looking at all these things that I made when I was like, I don't know, 12. I don't know if you can tell, but my very chaotic forest witch vibes. The robe came out pretty good. I'm excited about it. It came out. Last night was so much fun. I am so proud of myself with that cloak. And it's so funny because I just put so much pressure on myself to like bring this vision to life of this forest like druid witch for witches night out. And you know, a lot of people just came wearing like dark jeans, a black shirt, and a hat. And I of course went all out and put together this costume, and most of the stuff was stuff that I have had and just put it together. But the cloak, I am just so proud of it. And even with like the mishap of not finding any material, I almost gave up. And I was walking past the like bath and home aisle, and there were curtains, and I was like, that might work really well. But I don't know, it renewed my confidence. I hadn't used my sewing machine in a couple of years probably. It's just a reminder that like we can be creative and do these fun things. And it just brought me a lot of joy. But this morning we've got a lot to do. We're trying to leave here around 1 o'clock for our week-long camping trip. And it kind of kicks off with Halloween weekend camping with a big group of friends. All the kids come out and trick or treat, and we go mountain biking and camp and all that stuff. And then we'll spend a week in the desert. And then we have this mountain bike race. So I have a lot to do during the week because when we get back, I have my big market. But I wanted to just take a second and pull a few cards because today really just marks this exact in-between of the autumn equinox and the winter solstice. And so I wanted to do a past, present, future card, and you cannot make this up. It is so on point to what I'm feeling right now. So I was like, I want to art journal this. I'm not going to do it all right now. I'm going to bring this with me. But for past, I got the Woodward, which is a really cool card. And really it's representing like letting go of past insecurities,
going through past adversities, rebalancing life, and then building and finding inner confidence and the strength to renew. And I'm like, holy shit, looking back at the last several months, even year of my life, that's really what it's been. Like, even just a few months ago, I was still going through this big identity crisis and letting go of these old identities, and really stepping into who I am now and having the confidence and letting go of that self doubt and insecurity around mentoring and coaching other people. And even at Creative Camp, my word coming out of there was embody. And I said that because I was like, I really want to embody this new chapter that I'm in and be proud of it. You know what I mean? And I do feel that now. And after working with all of these clients, and I even offboarded a couple clients last week after their whole 3-month journey together. And it was just, it's just amazing. And like, it really is crazy how much can happen in 3 months. When you look back and really take stock on this progress. So that felt really cool. And then present, the archer, which I do feel like, the first line of the description in the book, dawn of a new adventure. And I'm like, totally dawn of a new adventure in my business. And of course, with all the cards, it's like, take what you will and leave what you don't. But it's like, what does it bring up for you, right? And what does it make you think about, and what comes to mind? One of the things was, what, why, and how do you want to bring these new projects to life, essentially? Or at least that's what it came up for me. And it's kind of like, in the last video I did, what's going right, and then how I want to vision 2026. Those were all the things that I'm putting down, this mapping. So go watch that video if you haven't watched it. And the archer is a woman. Oh, let me show you. She's beautiful. And with archery, it talks about like how you're really putting a lot of muscle into pulling back the string. But then you have to find that moment of like deep breath and calm before you can shoot the arrow. And that's kind of where I am right now with the business. It's like, I've put all this work in to build this new chapter. I'm still building the new chapter. There's still new things that I want to build. There's that secret project that I'm working on. But you need that moment of breath and calm before you can let it really fly. And I think that's that pocket that I'm in right now. Holding that breath, finding that calm, and then the direction forward. And so for future, which I feel like is what we're moving into as well, is the 4 of arrows, which is rest, and this butterfly. And I've pulled this card before, last year, I think. And you know what it reminded me of is I need to rest again and let the transformation happen. And metamorphosis continues. Like, I've pulled this card a couple times in the last couple years. And I think truly it's like we're constantly evolving, and I keep saying that, but it's so true. And I'm seeing it happen to me in real time, where like this time last year, it was when I decided to let go of my chef business for the following year, because bookings happen ahead of time. And that was like step 1 evolution, or one of the phases of evolution. And I'm coming into that again this year, kind of seeing what I need to evolve in the knitting side of the business. And so, yeah, it just felt so fitting. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, when people ask you, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 3-year plan? What's your 1-year plan? It's almost like it's nice to have that vision and hold the vision if you have it, and dream about that and have that bigger goal. But until you take a step and let that part of the path unfold, you won't know the next step, And so that's why evolution, it's like all these checkpoints where you've let something unfold and evolve a little bit. Oh, okay. And you get to the next checkpoint and you're like, wait, this actually needs to change and evolve a little bit now too. And it's this constant process, and we're always growing and learning and like finding new things out about ourselves. And so it's just really cool. But also this time of year, like this truly like everything is dying, right? In nature, the cycle. And it is getting into that dark period of rest, and this reminder of death and rebirth and nature cycles. And it is really cool. I love that stuff so much. And it's always just, to me, so reflective of my life, my business, my journey. And there is something beautiful in every cycle and so necessary. And society really just is go, go, go. Like, people, their work schedules don't change. Like, all this stuff is just constant. But when you're your own boss, when you are self-employed, you can create that cycle for yourself. And so for me, even though I'm in this like busiest season with the knitting, the interesting and cool part for me is that that's the busy part. The process of just sitting and crafting, right? But not all this other stuff, the planning, all that. Like, that's not really the priority right now. It's just sitting and knitting. So the rest. Does that bring anything up for you? I would love to hear how you're feeling about this time of year, what these cards brought up for you. I just want to know. It's so cool. But okay, I'm glad I took that moment to do that. But now the number one priority I have before we leave is to finish tagging all the beanies that I need for the market when I get back. I just want to have them done and dusted so that when I get back from the trip, everything I've knit, that's what I need to palm and tag. Does that make sense? So at least I know I have stuff that's 100% ready.
Watching you was such a thrill. All that I could do was laugh. I couldn't hold it back. I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold it back. We were running on that open shore. No saddle on his back.
Okay, I've gotten these tagged. I have nothing palmed. I still have to tag and palm all of this shelf, and this shelf.
It's already 11:30. We are trying to leave here at 1, so I need to prioritize because I have a lot left that I wanted to do, but I'm just not gonna get to, which happens, which is fine. And I know I said I was gonna wind yarn earlier. I just really wanted to knock some of this out because when we get back from the trip, I just want to know that this is done. But really, the bigger priority now is to make my to-make list, like what I need to make or want to make while we're gone this week, and then wind the yarn that I need to wind.
What's the angle? I'm not playing that game. It's the same business with a different name. Who's the target? Sorry, I'm not in the market. If I quit buying, you can't sell me anything. No thanks, I'll pass. I don't want any of that. I'll just take my chances. No thanks, not now. I made it this far somehow. I'll just take my chances. Collective pressure. It's about time for another lecture. You do it too. If you knew what's good for you.
Okay, I think I am officially ready to go. I'm showered, I'm packed. I officially have enough yarn to knit 46 hats on this trip. I'm very excited. And it's funny, like this week, just talking about how it's been feeling really chaotic with all the things going on. Like this season just kind of makes you think a lot about your shadows and this kind of in-between phase, what you need to let go of and let die in order to be reborn, like all of these things I've been thinking about. And sharing with you, and that includes like what I was saying earlier with the K-pop Demon Hunters thing, just all of these things from your inner child that really make you who you are. And I think, people always like, oh, if you're talking about feelings as a business owner, like leave it out of there. But I'm also like, who you are as a person is so important to who you are as a business owner and how you come to your business and run your business and how you present yourself to the world. So I think it's all intertwined and it's so important. But we're about to hit the road. We're going to be gone for a little over a week. I don't think I'll do much filming this weekend since it's going to be that big camping trip for Halloween with like a bunch of friends and mountain biking and stuff. But in the next video, my plan is to just document this road trip in the desert and see if I can make all 46 hats. And I think the biggest part of this too was I feel like every time I've gone on a trip in the last few months, it's like in this in-between and signifying this new chapter. So in my Europe trip, coming back, I knew I was going to hit the ground running with my new certification program and this new chapter of the business, working with clients and the beanie business starting to really get into its busiest season. And with this road trip, even though it's just like a little week in the desert and I'll be working while we're there, coming back, I'm going to be basically turning around and doing the biggest market I've ever done. And then our ski mount's going to open, which will really just swing us into that winter busy season in my town, at my local shops, the holiday season, and all of that. So when I get back from this trip, that's really what that kind of signified for me. So it's kind of cool that I have these trips as these mile markers almost, like what we were talking about in the last video with mapping out this journey. These trips almost feel like little mile markers. I'm not saying you need to have a trip in order to step into a new chapter or have that real feeling of taking yourself out of the space so you can come back refreshed. But for me, it seems to have fallen that way, and I'm not mad about it. But once again, thank you for listening to all of my unfiltered thoughts and just the chaoticness of this video. Happy Halloween, happy Samhain. Thank you always for being here, of course, and for supporting me on my journey, and I will see you in the desert.
It's not